estimate after our last meeting. They were fixed. I don't know who did that, why it got that grim, but they came and stabilized those light poles, and they're straight. I don't know.
It was brought up, I took notes on it last time.
Charlie thinks it's beautiful
People
here.
since that meeting, after I took my notes and saw I was taking notes, said, well, I've been walking around, what about those reflectors? What about the holders for the hose? You know, there's hoses like
Amazing. Took 10 years.
Yeah, so I mean, that's, yeah, right, go ahead.
So I just have one more thing to add, because I'm on a time constraint. I want to thank everyone for listening to me. I'm going to leave you with this because I follow my faith. Don't pray for a hole while you're leaning on a shovel. That's for everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Is that it? Yes.
That's it.
I'm curious, he was saying how things were fixed all of a sudden.
Yeah, I've been busy. Steve's been busy.
We can't hear you. No, everybody else is talking. It's not.
Yeah, probably because you're facing me and not.
I'm curious because everything seemed to, all of a sudden, within the past month and a half, got fixed. You know, the poles were straightened, the light posts in the parking lot were replaced and painted, and like the laundry door got replaced, and it's been like that for years. It's like, is all of this because, you know, we're pushing to get it done by April 1st for some reason?
No,
Or
no.
is Steve going to be here after April 1st? Is he worried about his job or what?
He's semi-retired.
There's a lot of,
Steve works 4 days a week now.
Uh-huh.
I was not quite in favor of that. The board agreed to it. So things kind of, again, Steve is very valuable around here. 4 days of Steve is probably worth more than 6 days of somebody else, 7 days of somebody else. But it all cannot get done. So
But
the
what
new
I'm saying is,
new
all
board,
of a sudden,
well, wait a
things
minute.
got done.
The lamp posts, the ground people broke them. They knocked them over, cut, I don't know what they did. So Steve had them put them up. They should have been removed years ago, but we wasted money because somebody didn't like the charge back on the electric. So we wasted about 20 grand on redoing those lights. They should be put on the pilings. It is a constant maintenance issue, those
Well, the
poles.
lights in where he did the median?
No, now we're talking, no, these lights we were talking about, the median is something different.
What I'm
The
saying,
electric
the
broke.
type of light that he put on the
Right.
median is great. I like the light that it gives off from that. Why can't we put that type of light out here?
Oh, they won't work because they're low voltage lights. They're
And out
not,
front is not?
no.
Oh, stuff. Okay, thank you.
yes,
What
Pat.
board voted Steve only working 4 days a week? MRC or River Shores?
I think Steve decided that he wanted to work
I thought that Tony just said he was voted by the board.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I'm not quite.
No, I said the board agreed to have him here for he requested it.
Right.
I was not quite in favor of
You
it.
didn't say the request part.
No, that's correct. Steve requested it, the board granted it, and that's what is. Steve decides what he does, he sets his priorities, and that was a conversation at a public Middle River Club board meeting. Let both Steve and Basil decide, because they did have set hours, and then all of a sudden, because everybody complained, then they all of a sudden realized that if there was a problem in the afternoon at Middle River Club, say, they couldn't if their time was at River Shores. So then it was decided at a board meeting that they make that determination, not the board.
So, I mean, basically, since I've been in the clubhouse, you know, several days this month for hours, just trying to get a feel for things and get used to things. you know, I've had several more conversations with Steve than I've ever had before, and Basil both, and great guys. But, you know, I just didn't want them to, you know, be taken away from their responsibilities at the River Shores. So they kind of let me know what they can do, can't do, or when they can do it and all that. So I mean, my intention basically, and it's been this way for a long time, it doesn't matter who was on the board when or whatever, this club, as it was said in the original documents from 1966 or 72, it's up there somewhere, should be run independent of any of the three buildings. It just so happens that, you know, the operations have been out of the River Shores office, which has been, you know, awkward and inconvenient and not good, basically. So it's kind of like, there's just too much going on there. So we really, if this is independent and it has its own budget, which it does, and it says in the documents you can hire and fire whoever you want, the board of Middle River Club can decide that. So that's why it's imperative that when you elect over there for the 3 vacancies on this board, that you elect people that, you know, are gonna help run the place independently and so on. That's been my intention. I think a lot of people agree with that, especially since it was that way apparently years ago or whatever, and it morphed into something else. I wasn't here, but I mean, I've been here 10 years, so I don't know what happened prior to 2012, you know, exactly. I mean, I'm learning bits and bits by Doris's, you know, correspondence and by people's stories and you know, sons and daughters that have inherited their parents' place and everything. But all I know is it's just the way it's been lately is not functional. It's dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to make it more functional. And I don't have 14 to 30 years in the biz, so there's gonna be a learning curve. It's just natural, it's normal, but I'm willing to learn. Yes?
Good.
When is the election, so that we'll know who fills this board?
River Shores election, the 5th or 6th time is April 1st.
Okay.
April 1st is the River Shores elections at 8 p.m. And hopefully there is election integrity and no funny business. So
Once again,
that
he's
can be a
talking.
fair election. So just like we want all elections to be, whether it's city or state or, you know, national or whatever, we just want it to be fair, that's all. I mean, if it doesn't go my way or anybody else's way, that's the way it is, you know, and then you deal with it, or you don't deal with it, or you cry, or you have a beer, or you throw a party. I don't know. I'm just saying that's life.
Bourbon out there.
Just life. Yeah, Maryland.
Yes, who is eligible to vote? on it?
River Shores
Owners.
residents.
Anyone living in?
No,
No.
River Shores building, that sprawling complex over there, has their elections April 1st. Only River Shores owners are allowed to vote. The point I'm trying to make is that the 3 vacancies on this board are determined by the people that are voted on that board. Those people that are elected on that board say, you, not you, you know, 3 people, or 2 people, 2 or 3 people, I don't know.
Right.
So that has to come first. Then those people, whatever the makeup is of that, says, who wants to be on the Middle River Club board? Anybody? If they have 3 takers, then there you go. That's all, because there's 3 positions. Only 3 takers, boom, 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 done. Have a good night. If there's 3 open positions on the Middle River Club board, and there's 5 or 10 or 20, then those people that are newly elected will say, in a huddle, you know, what do you think? You know, what looks good? And then they say, okay, well, we decided that, you know, we want to appoint you. That's how it happens, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, that's my interpretation. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong, Tony? Is that how it goes?
I think you can say anything you want, Craig. It's now an hour and a half. You wanted to stop in an hour.
I did.
Let's go over that real quick.
I'll take that as a hint.
question.
Over what, quick?
I'll take that as a hint.
You have seen the River Shores elections
No, I'm
before.
just asking you to answer his question. Is it just willy-nilly, or is there a process?
Nilly-nilly.
There are three.
For the election?
Just answer his question.
What was your question, Craig?
Well, that's how I interpret how that goes. Am I wrong?
What goes?
How the
The order of operations, in other words.
appointees.
The River Shores Board appoints 3 willing, fill in the blank. It has always been that way. It is in the condo docs. It is not Tony's personal preference.
The condo docs say River Shores gets to appoint 3 people on the Middle River Club Board. River Terrace, it gets to appoint 1 person, and Riverbend appoints 1 person, so 5 positions. So that's the dynamic. So there's 3 vacancies, or 2 vacancies at least. I don't know, there's a 3rd one, I don't know what,
No, there are 3
there's
vacancies.
3 vacancies, okay, so we're clear on that. So there's gonna be 3 people. Hopefully there's 3, there might be 1, there might be 2, and I don't know. I don't know how many people wanna put their, you know, express an interest in it, but nevertheless, you know, that's, yeah, Bruce, go ahead.
Once River Shores election takes place, if they have a board, if you're interested in being on the Middle River Club, then you should go to your newly found board, let them know you're interested. I'm sure there'll be several people, and then they have the task of selecting those people they think will best represent them.
But it's my impression, and maybe I'm misinformed, but it's my impression that anybody who's interested in doing that, you know, being on the Middle River Club board, expresses it like basically that night or whatever. I mean, they have the elections and then I think.
No, incorrect.
Okay, correct me.
The night of the election takes place. Then the board has to have a board meeting. At that board meeting it's called the reorganization meeting. At that time, they reorganize. They decide their titles, they decide
Okay.
the registered agent, they decide who's going to be on the Middle River Club. They make a lot of business decisions.
Okay.
So they have up to 10 days to do that according to the documents.
Okay. Okay.
Have a great evening.
So that's good. I mean, thanks for clearing that up because I was
I'm done.
Yeah.
obviously.
But again, it should be the same for River Terrace.
Yeah, I mean, when, we had a vacancy for a while and there were no takers in my case.
Sure.
To be on the board, imagine that.
Take care.
So I decided to do that. So, I mean, it was no like, okay, if you want to do it, I'd be happy to have you do it, you know. Yes, Marilyn.
I always expressed an interest of being on the club board from Shores, and for some reason, I was never chosen.
Well, that's-
Yeah, for some reason, I guess. The board didn't feel you were appropriate.
Tony is a...
But anyway, like Tony said, I mean, I've gone over time, and I'm sure everybody's hungry or needs a drink or needs to do something else besides sit here. If you have questions we didn't get to, I'll take one more, John.
Well, it's not a question. I'd just like to announce again, if anybody wants to work on the tennis court this week, I already have one volunteer who came up to me. And we'll try to figure out how it should be done correctly and get some brooms and scrub. And if anyone's interested, see me and give me your name and phone number before you leave today. And maybe we can coordinate a time where we could get it done fairly quickly and hopefully.
I don't want to stop the cleaning
Craig,
process.
Craig, can I just say one thing?
Johnny has to.
Very quickly.
Bill.
I want to thank you for the wonderful job and how organized you are and how pleasant you are. And I think it's a great change that we're seeing. And I just hope you're a friend of mine, so I'm sort of biased, but I have to tell you, this is great. This is really, really great.
Very refreshing.
I think Johnny wanted to say one.
Just on the tennis court, they wait till you're done, your
That's,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, and I considered that actually logically,
Instead of
since we're
doing it
gonna have
again.
a year of dust and dirt, I thought that maybe it should wait, but somebody also brought up the point that if there's mildew on it, that might not be good for the surface, the integrity of whatever surface.
It's also
Might
on
be
shuffleball
prudent
courts now.
to at least get
Yeah.
get the mold off or whatever. I mean, it's not like covered in mold, there's just certain areas obviously that water tends to be or doesn't dry out or whatever. So, I mean,
And again, I did
I think that's the point, John.
Yeah. I did a test with some Clorox in it, in like minutes.
I just want to say bingo, everybody, Tuesday night, bingo, 6:30.
Tuesday night.
And to take cake and cookies. Oh, cake and cookies, very good.
Take the cookies, take snacks, take.
And happy birthday, Bill.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy birthday. I see you at LA Fitness over there. Yeah.
And you also see the girl who's always running and always yelling. Like on the upstairs in the. Oh, no.
Sorry, we
The tour is over.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, that's wild. Shit, that's what I got for you. So, these are the bills that need to be paid.
Yeah, right there.
Checks and boxes. Board minutes are here. Oh, sorry, the board minutes, boxes. Now, I had to have the stuff scanned.
I'll leave anything that is
There's a problem, they're going to accuse me of something, so it's not a problem. So I'm going to give you a piece of information now.
This is very official looking. Now you need a microphone.
All right. So these are the minutes.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. And here's like the current invoices, there's everything, so you gotta go through it. It's gonna give you something to sit here for 3 hours at your bullshit. So, I'm giving you the information now. There is no money in Middle River Club for the simple reason. Well, why? But why? Well, no, finish, you have to finish when I'm asking. Yes, but the insurance came. I think we were at 27, whatever, I think, I don't remember. But when I give you the flash drive, you'll have the QuickBooks on there. So you'll be able to look. The guys will be able to be paid April 1st, but you're going to have to get money in there because of these bills have to be paid. You can't pay them. There's no money. All right? So the bank is going to have to be changed.